Hi, I'm Maxie, and I want to kind of talk about my story or my journey with Mate. So I began the foundation maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, so in 2013, and I went through it 6 months, didn't come out with a SAS. And maybe a year and a half after that, I kind of tried different things, Kindle publishing, website design, social media management, all this other stuff, and found that I did want to give SAS a real go again. But I had this deep, deep anxiety. I couldn't really get my head around the idea of having a mentor. I just felt like you had to be a certain sort of like person to be able to have a mentor. So I kind of just thought, I just had this limiting belief in my head, like I don't have integrity. It was such a big thing for me, and consistency in working hard and working on the same thing and putting my all into it. So I had to kind of prove that to myself before I could say that I was worthy of a mentor. And even then, I wasn't really, like, I couldn't even have an accountability partner at the time because I was just so afraid that I wouldn't get it done and that my accountability partner would be like, why are you so lazy? Why haven't you gotten this done? Like, just, I don't know, just yelling at me or telling me how I should do things. So I kind of dedicated August and September. Those 2 months, I kind of was like, okay, if I can consistently over 30 days, majority of those days, say like 28 of those days, 25 of those days, every day have an X. And an X would be make, a certain number of emails every day. And then get IE calls and things like that. So it was more about consistency, and so I had 2 months where it kind of, I finally got my X's, and so I thought, okay, you know what, I have an idea now because I validated a pain, and I've been getting these IE calls, and I felt like I was, able to be consistent with this, and have integrity, like hold to my word. So I thought, you know what, the next step is definitely to get a mentor. So I got a mentor, that was Mate, and I knew that I wanted Mate. I didn't know how, I didn't know how it was going to happen. All I knew was that he was going to be my mentor. And so I reached out to him, and we kind of really got started in November. And we had a call once a week. And the beautiful thing about Mate was that I was still in that phase where everything was really, really hard for me to do. So I tried doing 40 emails a day and like having that just automatically sent out and things like that, but I didn't really like it, and I knew that I had to go at my own pace and what felt aligned to me. And what felt aligned to me at the time was doing, I think it was even only one email a day, personalized. Or maybe it was 5 emails a day. I think I think it was 1 email a day. And I remember thinking, I feel good about this. And then Mate, being the lovely person that he is, kind of, at first, he kind of, went the other route and was like, okay, if you want to get this many, IE calls by this amount of time. But then he saw how nervous I was, and he just kind of said, let's go at your own pace. Like, it's not any use kind of pushing you, which was really, really, really cool. And I hadn't expected that. And our calls, they ended up being 1 hour, maybe a little bit longer. And they just felt like, for me, just everything that was in my head, I could get out to him. And I would rattle off all these things, and he would just listen and be really, really understanding and compassionate. And that was what I needed at the time. More than anything, though, I needed someone who believed that I could do it more than myself. And so having him there and listening to me and treating me like someone who, could make it, could do this, really boosted my self-confidence, and that's what I love about Matei. He's not one of those coaches who are hard ass and are going to kick you up the butt. I mean, if you need it, I'm sure he can be, but for me, I think he caters to each person, and for me, he really catered to my needs, which was just to treat me with kindness and respect and acceptance and being okay with where I was at. And the good thing about Matei is there were certain moments when he would push me and I'd resist. And then I would be like, oh, and then I'd think about it again, and then I'd do it. So an example would be, going from 1 to 2 emails to 5 emails. And that felt like a lot for me. And see, like, even now when I'm talking about it, I was like, at the time, it sounds so lazy, but it didn't matter what the action was. It was just that I was consistent and that he was there to egg me on, keep me accountable, and was confident that I could do it, that I could build a SaaS. And so also one thing that Matei brought to my attention was he introduced me to cold showers. So he said, you need to get used to the feeling of being really uncomfortable and just doing it. So I started taking cold showers, and I ended up doing it every day. I always had a cold shower until I think it was up to about 5-6 months, and then I stopped when it came into winter time and stuff like that. But it was just amazing that he kind of realizes what you need to work on, and he knew that I wasn't good at dealing with my uncomfortable feelings, so he kind of gave me that practice, and it just boosted my confidence. Every time I'd sit down and maybe I'd have a pre-sale call or something, I'd think, you know what, you've taken cold showers for like the last 2 months. Like, you get in freezing cold water, you can do this call. So that was really cool. And Matei also, what I love about him is he'll go into the deep stuff. I love talking about, mindset, consciousness, beliefs, questioning the things in my head that I'm going through at the time. And he digs deep into what's really going on. He doesn't just look at, oh, you're not doing this task or this task, you should be doing it. Here's how to get from A to B. Take this step, this step, this step. And I think that's what makes Matei a really high-level coach, is he kind of digs deeper into what really the problem was. Because a lot of the things that we're told to do, like send an email, make a call, physically, we can all do these things, but he knew it was the mental, emotional blocks that were kind of stopping me. And so for him, he realized it was about getting me to be consistent, but also in a comfortable zone, and then slowly, very slowly increasing my, uncomfortableness to go from 1 email to 2 email. Like, he wouldn't immediately push me to do 10 emails or 100 emails, something that, would make me super, super stressed and feel really, really pressured. And I think what I love about Matei is that he was a friend throughout all of this. He was my trusted friend. So anything that I needed to talk to him about. And I don't think he knew this, but before the calls, I would always be so nervous. And going into the week, I would always be so nervous. And it would be, all these nerves would come up because I was so scared he was going to finally snap and be like, you're not doing this right, you're doing this wrong, or this isn't good enough, or you're not worthy, or you're not, I don't know, like, you can't do this, you can't build a SaaS. But what he made me see was my unique strengths, and he would always kind of note whenever I did something good, or did something to be proud of, or some quality about myself that was, really, really something to be proud of. So that kind of helped me. He never put me down, and I really, really can't deal personally, like for me, with coaches or anyone really who's going to put me down. When you're in those moments of growth right at the beginning, it's so fragile. You are so fragile. And he understands that, and he made me see things about myself that I could really be proud of. For example, he said, you're not really a hunter when it comes to, for example, pre-sales. Hunters kind of see a goal, see a deer, they run after it, they throw the spear, they catch it. They do that every day. I'm more of a farmer where I kind of like to go slow, but I like to plant the seeds and nurture them and then harvest them, and it's more of a building the relationship. And he kind of showed me that it's about kind of becoming the entrepreneur that, what my strengths and qualities are, and to focus on those, and what I'm not good at, you can get someone else to do, like hardcore 10 sales a day. That's not me. I love talking to my customer, building that relationship, getting to know them, connecting with them, understanding them. And that's my favorite part out of everything, is just talking to them like face to face. So yeah, so many things. Those are just a few, but so many things that Mate helped me realize about myself. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Mate, because now I am at 9 pre-sales. I've raised $5,175.50 in pre-sales, which just today, which is amazing, I have sent the funds to a development company in Poland who was referred to me by another foundation member, Jante. And just last night, I started talking to the developer about user stories and features, and they've just started developing today. So it feels amazing, from going from a place where I, could only do one email a day, to today where I can do many emails, and it feels, almost automatic. And calls for me are super fun. I can still only do one call a day, but, slowly, growth, being aligned. It's just about keeping moving, and for me, being really, really kind and really honest to yourself. Really honest about what you can do. And Mate, there's no way that I could get to where I am now without Mate's belief in me and just his support there. And I am really, really happy to tell anyone who's struggling and wants to build a SaaS and needs a mentor to choose Mate, because he will nurture you, he will guide you, and he will be your friend. So thank you so much, Mate. And yeah, thank you for everything.